Hello, hello. Okay, so I just wanted to stream today and go over the PDF, and kind of just go over some stuff that some stuff is pretty well tested at this point, other stuff is not, and I just wanted to go over those kind of uh landmines, I guess you could say. Um, just so when you guys test it yourselves, or just like reading it over yourselves, or playtesting it with your groups, you know what stuff that you can use that will probably work without issue, and what stuff that if you use, it's kind of on you whether you want to use it or not. Um, so let's see. So I would say most of the stuff in the introduction and character creation is good and accurate. I also updated designations. I didn't. It was kind of a quick job, but I did update them to reflect the game's current state, so that they should be relatively accurate. But um, but the things that are probably less less tested as they should be are primarily enemies. Page 186. Civilians. I haven't looked at them in a long time. I think they. Oh, well, they're up in the up-to-date format, so they should be. They should work. But I haven't really tested them, and I mostly test combatants or infantry. And it's kind of weird because I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do for naming yet. But right now civilians are just like non-combatants essentially, but they also kind of fit within the infantry or the like normal human soldier kind of section, which is a little awkward. But all of the basic infantry stuff should be. This is all like relatively well tested. Um, uh, and it's tested through lethality rating 1 through 5. There's nothing above lethality rating 5 right now, because most of my playtests have been between level 1 through 5, so there hasn't really been any need to make anything above that yet. I will eventually add those to the game, because I have a method for scaling enemies that's pretty easy. But when you get down to still infantry. Like when you get the hive stuff, hive and the other versions of enemies, they aren't as well tested. I updated their format to kind of be within what they're supposed to be, so like they have streaks, they have stats rather than ability scores. but whether or not they're good against players, like a good fight against players, I have no idea. I haven't tested them in a long, long time. So if you use these, that's kind of on you to playtest that and get back to me if it's good or bad. And sorry for some of the bad formatting. The idea is that I'm leaving it blank so I can add more tier 1 stuff to the game. And later on. So I'm just kind of leaving that space blank right now. So it's got some weird empty spaces around. Animals are probably really poorly balanced, but I don't know. I kind of don't care that much about the animal combatants. There's a lot of them though. There's like a stupid amount of animal combatants. A lot of them were like CR 1/8 or 1/2 or like really low. So a lot of like the smaller animals, despite being lethality rating 1, they're probably even weaker than that. Because you can always tell what lethality rating an enemy is because they'll be, tier whatever, and if it's tier 1, it's lethality rating 1. If it's tier 2, it's lethality rating 2. So it's always easy to know. And so yeah, the enemies really outside of just like anything that's not humanoid and like a soldier type thing, is not going to be well balanced. And you guys can get back to me about like how the dregs work, with their critical bite and stuff like that. Because I took infection stuff out of the game, so it's kind of iffy on how that works now. Getting infected by a space zombie. Okay, so that's enemies. What else in the game doesn't work well? I can talk about pursuits. Page 78. Pursuits are pretty much just these rules are pretty much ripped straight from Call of Cthulhu. I do intend on changing them later, but right now it's you get a map and you can like screenshot this or whatever, get out of the PDF however you want, and then use it for an actual map for your players. And then it's supposed to be that like every time you move from one space to the next, you have to deal with obstacles and barriers. I'm not really like big on how that works in Call of Cthulhu. Like I think for chases I want it to be more spontaneous and random. So I think in the future I'm going to change it so there's just obstacles, and every time you go to a new space you have to roll to see if you get an obstacle, and if you roll like really poorly you will get a barrier which just stops you from moving. Because like the pursuit is supposed to be like more of a low effort, something you can kind of just do on the fly. It's not something you should like really need to do like a big plan for in your DM prep beforehand. But yeah, this hasn't really been tested. I tested it like once in my last playtest and it worked fine, I guess. But I think I do want to change it to be more streamlined. Ooh, commerce. Yeah. So the fun part about being a DM is that players want to buy things, and they get annoyed when they can't just buy whatever they want. Like, in my experience, players are fine with not being able to buy things because they don't have the money to do it. But what they're not okay with is when they have the money to buy something and they just can't buy it because it's not in like a shop's inventory. And I got into D&D through like Critical Role and stuff. So originally for me, it's like I was under the assumption that all shopkeepers need to have like personalities and need to be like devoted NPCs and be very much someone the players had to interact with and like bargain with to get good prices and reduce prices and things like that. But over the course of me actually DMing and all my playtests, the ones that were successful and the ones that weren't, I have found that players don't really want to interact with shop owners. They just want to buy their shit and move on with the campaign, which honestly understandable. So a lot of the stuff in the commerce section is optional. Like traders are optional and haggling is optional because they add a lot of time to the interaction in session, true, but they also add a lot of time on the DM side. Like there's rules here for what kind of trader they are. Are they a sole proprietorship or a franchise, or in trade quality and frequency of restocking and oh fuck. I need a well, good thing I'm doing this stream because quality of goods like this, I need to remove this from the game. Actually, this should not be in the game anymore. Hold on. Move quality of goods section from commerce since decay mechanics have been removed from the game. So I already said in the Discord that I'm not going to make updates about the game like every day or every week based on like every little error and issue I find in the game. I'm going to wait like once a month or whatever. I want to take all the feedback I get from the feedback text chat and on the Discord and make changes based on that and then put out an updated version. So because I don't want to kill myself pushing out constant like changes and updates to this game when it would be, I think it'd just be better for everybody if I just pushed out an update, like a more comprehensive update every once in a while. And like now that I pointed it out, like people who are playing the game, like you can just look at this and be like, oh well, it's not intended to be in the game, so we just won't use it. But yeah, you aren't supposed to use that amount of goods, and like amount of goods and randomly generating store inventory, like all of that is so time consuming for the DM and in their prep that it just isn't like, it's there if you want to use it. I mean, all these tables are probably out of date, but it's there if you want to use it. Yeah, these are all super out of date. So commerce section, not only do players not like a lot of stuff in there because they just want to be able to buy stuff that they can afford to buy on demand, which is fair and understandable and streamlines a lot. But also a lot of the stuff in this section is super out of date and I didn't notice, and it's now there in the game. So let me just write that in my notes, just like just go over the commerce section. A lot of old stuff is in there. So that's commerce. I guess. There's some stuff in there that's still usable, like not the like random generation. That's like that's based on old inventory stuff. But you know, amount of goods, frequency of restock, trader quality, franchises, sole proprietorships. That stuff is still usable if you want to make like an in-depth trader experience, but I think most players aren't really into that, so it's up to you. So what else is there? Go over. Combat should be pretty up to date. That was like one of the big things. I had to revise in the first big revision. Yeah, okay. So horde combat might not work so great, but I don't think it's like old and broken or anything. Items and equipment, that stuff should be fine. Auto turret should be fine. Survival has been drastically reduced. It's really just like eat a ration once a day. And just make sure you eat a ration once a day. I mean, there's stuff about weather and radiation, but that's not really like basic survival stuff. Okay, I can talk about citadels. I know citadels are terribly out of date, and the only reason I kept them in the game was because I just was too lazy to remove all of it. But citadels are kind of like, you know, the fortresses you get in D&D, or like in older editions of D&D, or even like I think 5.5 you can get them too. But they're just bases of operations for your players. But the problem is I just haven't looked at it in a long ass time, and it's using old systems or like older interpretations of systems that aren't up to date anymore. Like a lot of it's okay, but like especially the war section probably just doesn't work because it's reliant on using like I think lethality ratings to determine like the strength of your military, but that doesn't work for a lot of things in the game, and there's no lethality ratings really assigned to ships just yet. I mean, there's a couple, but not really. But yeah, I just haven't looked at it in a super long time, so use it at your own discretion. You can tell me if it still works decently or just doesn't work at all. Maybe I should just drop the lethality rating to Turb, because like it's not really used. Most enemies are called like tier 1, 2, or 3. They're not really called like lethality rating. I don't know. It's one page of upgrades. Okay. Very much not up to date. So that's citadels. I should probably talk about ships, because for ships and ship combat, here, let me check. Trunks stress, planetary vehicles. Oh, planetary vehicles are super out of date as well. 266. I did go over them. I remember going over them, but I have no idea if they're balanced or not. They might be super OP if you give your player a tank. So, I mean, they're super expensive. I think this is more expensive than spaceships right now, which is crazy. But that's probably not balanced very well because you would have it kind of works like ships where you're kind of a gestalt in a planetary vehicle. Um, so it's just like the one tank taking actions. Um, but it still could be broken because players in ground combat can just hop out and take individual turns while you have just like one guy in the tank, which might be incredibly broken. I don't know. I haven't tested it yet. But like, you know, at least with like ship combat, like players can't just get out of the ship unless they have like another smaller ship. Which is kind of accounted for in the ship combat, but none of this has been tested. So I don't know if it's good or bad. But it kind of works like spaceships where they run off charge slots. It costs a certain amount to travel a certain distance, and performing certain actions and using certain weapons will cost a charge slot. Planetary vehicles, citadels, and then space. Let's spaceship combat 292. So when I was originally testing spaceship combat, I was testing it under the assumption that weapons ships used kind of functioned like weapons like a D&D 5e player could use, where it's like in D&D 5e on the battle map, it doesn't matter really how you orient your player or orient your player character when you end your turn, because you can attack in any direction you want whenever you want. You know, the assumption I would think is just that your character pivots or swivels where they are and just then makes an attack in whatever direction they're able to. And that was kind of the assumption for space combat too for a long time. And so, but I wanted to incorporate things like facing and maneuvering in the game. Because I feel like that's a really important thing to have for like ship combat. Like whether that be in like water or in space, like larger ships should be like slow to turn and things like that. And if larger ships are slow to turn but can still fire in any direction, then like what's the point in having them slowly turn, you know? And so eventually I changed it so that there are directional weapons in the game. So there are weapons that can only fire like port, starboard, forward, or back. And the trade-off of doing that is that there are still some weapons in the game that can fire in any direction, which are called omnidirectional weapons. Let me just find that section. Oh, and here's a battle map of the stalwart, so people can use. So if you get boarded, you have a battle map you can play on. I don't know how this would scale if you print it out, but at least it exists, I guess. Ship weapons. So you have omnidirectional, which can fire in any direction as needed. And then you have directional, which is, as I said, it has to be in one direction, and you have to list when you install the weapon onto your ship sheet what direction it fires in, and keep that in mind. And the trade-off between the two is that omnidirectional weapons can shoot in any direction, but they're weaker. So they can do sustained damage like every turn as long as the enemy's like within your range, but they're not going to do like a ton of damage. And directional weapons do a lot more damage. The problem with this right now is that omnidirectional weapons for like ballistic weapons, like the 12.7 millimeter machine gun, does like the same damage right now as the 350 watt Gatling laser, which like the difference between like ballistic and laser weapons is supposed to be that like laser weapons do less damage, but the trade-off is that they have no recoil on their second and third attack. But now it's like they do the same amount of damage, and They're both omnidirectional. And so it's like, what's the point of using the 12.7 millimeter machine gun right now? Because it's just a worse version of the 350 watt Gatling laser. But, you know, that's what happens when you make last minute changes before putting the game out, I guess. I mean, the difference is, like, I guess, skill use, because you will have characters who are, like, good with ballistic weapons, but not good with energy weapons. And you have an entire crew that's that way. Then using the laser weapon isn't going to be a good option, because they're still not gonna hit that often. Even if they don't have recoil on their second or third attack, they're still not gonna hit that often if the modifier that they add to their accuracy roll is just like a 2 or something. But yeah, that's really the only main difference between them now. So maybe I'll make this do like slightly more damage in the future, or maybe like change the die. Instead of like 1d12, it could be like 3d6 or something. I don't know. But yeah, also for ship combat, it was designed and play tested independently by me that most ships would start with like one weapon. And then, you know, as you level up and get more money, you get the money to buy more weapons to outfit your ship. The problem now is that with directional weapons, using just one weapon, like if you have like one omnidirectional weapon, yeah, I can shoot in any direction, but it's not going to do much damage, right? So I don't know right now whether or not I should have players start with one weapon on their ship, you know, when they first get their ship, or should they have two to start, like one directional, one omnidirectional, or I'm not quite sure how to handle that just yet. So you have to watch out for that. Maybe like start your players off with like one omnidirectional and one directional, and just have it like that. Because I didn't test it. I tested it under the assumption that every weapon can shoot in every direction. So I don't know if it's balanced or not. Ship upgrade should be fine. Ship enemies. So for ship enemies, they don't have the restriction of, or for most of ship enemies, that all their weapons are omnidirectional and they do more damage than your ship. So that could be broken, because again, I tested it under the assumption that the player ship could shoot in any direction. The enemy ships, a lot of them could shoot in any direction too, and they still have their original damage modifiers of, like, you know, the 12.7 millimeter machine gun originally did 3d12 damage, but I lowered it because now it's an omnidirectional weapon. But enemy damage is the same as I was before, which could be OP. It shouldn't, because in my testing, enemy ships rarely like destroyed player ships like in a single combat. Because ship combat is supposed to work like ground combat, where in ground combat, if you have 4 players, they should fight 4 enemies. And if you have 5 players, you fight 5 enemies. And in ship combat, since the players make up the crew of the one ship, at low levels, players should just be fighting like one other ship. Like at level 1, you should be fighting like one other ship of like similar size. I forgot what my point was. Yeah, so players fight one other ship of similar size. Oh, so in my testing, like, you know, having one ship fighting the players never really ever destroyed the players, which is kind of like where the balancing should be. Like, the enemy ships combat encounters should make players sweat. It shouldn't kill them, you know? And that's kind of how it's been balanced around. But as players get to higher levels, like, it works like in ground combat, where, oh, players are now level 4. Okay, well, I'll throw 2 tier 3 enemies at the players, so they can fight more than one enemy at once, but the enemy is weaker, so it shouldn't like kill the players from having like equal stats but higher higher action economy and just technically double the turns. But yeah, ship stuff, ship enemies kind of works like ground enemies, where it's just like it's what the players have, but it's been turned into a stat block, and that stat block, those stat blocks just get stronger each tier. And right now there's only one commander type among the ship enemies in the ship enemy section. Dry mouth. And fleet ship, support ship, capital ship, which is just the one peacekeeper right now. I could have made more, I probably should, but if you haven't read the PDF yet, or if you have no idea what this stream is about, in Mythic, enemies are divided into 3 sections. You have infantry, you have support, and you have commanders. And when it comes to ship combat, you have fleet ships, support ships, and capital ships. And capital ships are supposed to be like bosses, where you're really like, in most situations, you should just throw one of them at your players. And for ship combat, for a lot of the time, you're just going to be throwing like one ship at your players at a time, which could be boring. I'm not sure. But especially for capital ships, you really should just be throwing one at players at a time, and then maybe like a couple of support ships, like 2, or maybe use like a lower tier capital ship and throw 2 capitals at them. But there's just one in the game right now. It should be a doozy. But support ships, when it comes to ship combat, are like starfighters. They're just like small ships that are really fast and just do like guerrilla tactics, where they'll just like fly in, shoot, and then fly away. And they have really high speed to support that. They still might be doing too much damage though for how it works now. But for starfighters, for players as well, any weapon that's loaded onto a starfighter is omnidirectional no matter what. I'm not sure I have that written in the rules, but it is omnidirectional no matter what, because starfighters are so maneuverable that they can, you know, like a player, they can swerve and on a dime whenever needed. Because they're just so small and fast. What else is there to look out for? Ship communication and stuff. Repairing the ship, that should be up to date. Ship communication, I haven't touched that in forever. It's mostly like kind of, it's not lore stuff, but it is kind of lore stuff. It's kind of how like Planet is planetary internet. It's because like logically speaking, in a sci-fi, like satellite technology, even like in the future, probably wouldn't be like accurate and fast enough to communicate like, you know, terabytes of data from one planet to the next quickly and accurately. So most internets are like isolated to a single planet, and you connect to that when you get to the planet. But yeah, it's not lore, but it's kind of lore, because it's like, it's how, like, personally how I think like some of this stuff would logically work in a sci-fi setting. That is just kind of useful to keep in mind for really any setting that you might come up with. There's not much downtime stuff in the game right now. I'm not very good at making downtime stuff. Maybe I'll make like a committed downtime update sometime in the future. some of this astronavigation that's kind of pulled straight from Star Wars 5e, but it's a little different. It works in a single minute instead of 10 minutes. But I just looked at that, so that should be fine. Warp speed hazards, I haven't looked at in a while. That might be a little weird. Yeah, a lot of stuff I haven't looked at in a while either. It should be fine. Landing gear, detecting stuff. It should be fine. It's probably like going to have awkward application because I didn't put that much thought into it. I'll update it later. Ship crew, I just put that together, so that should be fine. Ship startup should be good. I just revised that. Solar systems and generating galaxies should be fine. I haven't looked at it in detail in a long time, but like I don't think I need to because I haven't had like a practical opportunity to really like apply it, and I think most people who play this game probably won't use this system. I think they'll just like make general placements of planets in a solar system or in the galaxy wherever they feel like. But if you do want like a structured way of putting together solar systems in a galaxy, not entire galaxy, it's really impractical to make an entire galaxy. I really highly recommend not forcing yourself through that awful process. But you can make like a local star cluster, I guess you could call it, pretty easily with some of the systems here. These are just the different types of suns. If you're really into space stuff, this section you might enjoy. It's just like general information about suns in different stages of their lives, and I think there are hazards to being near these weird stars, like mechanical rules. I don't remember though. Like I think if you're like near an O-class star, your ship's speed is slowed and stuff like that, and you might get hit with like solar flares. Okay, generating galaxies. This might be hard to read. The formatting really like breaks down in this section because like everything's a square and like it's really hard to see stuff in this like little square. But so when you're generating like a star cluster, you pick a center point that is, I would assume, is like the core, the central planet of whatever faction you're making. And then you can roll to determine size of that faction. Oh no, this is for solar system size. You can roll to for faction size, which is tiny as 1 to 3 solar systems, and then as big as gargantuan, which is 43 to 105 star systems. I didn't want to put it in the thousands or something because like, you put any research into figuring out like just how big the galaxy is, like it's completely impractical to try to actually simulate an entire galaxy. I highly recommend just generating like 100 solar systems or something, like, or less, like 20 solar systems, and just have your players play in that like area. That's going to be way easier to manage than thousands of star systems that you might not even have like made yet. You can also roll to figure out what type of government it is, and then the solar system placement table is you roll for size of the solar system, which is the number of planets it has inside of it, which is also determined by how big the sun is of the solar system, and then you can roll in what cardinal direction to place that on the galaxy map. If people want, I can post this template to the Discord and they can use it that way, but I don't think a big unedited version is really in the book right now. Just this one, which is kind of small. And then here is the example galaxy map I made for a faction in my universe that was in my book and was in one I used for one of my campaigns. It's a Terran Republic, and it is a gargantuan-sized faction. I think this is like 50 or so planets. I didn't want to do the whole like 100, but this is a more dense faction size. And then this is the more detailed part is generating solar systems. So you roll to figure out what type of star it has, and based on what type of star it has, you then go to another table to determine how many astral bodies it has. It's not necessarily a planet because larger stars, the largest and smallest stars are really inhospitable for planets. They tend to just have like derelict asteroids rotating them. But if you get to like K-class stars, which is the one we have, you're much more likely to get actual planets. But in Mythic, the class of planet is determined by habitability. So A class is like Earth-like, B is close to Earth-like or like Mars-like, C is like straight up Mars-like, and then it gets worse from there. Yeah, then there's terrain generation. I don't know if that's going to work well. You guys can play around with it, see if it works decently or not. But I don't want to really go over it. Yeah, it's exciting to have some of the stuff in the PDF now and having the PDF available on the Discord. So, a lot of this stuff has been in the Google Doc for like years now. Like I made like the land generation, like all the stars that I just showed you guys, all that stuff I made like 2 years ago. It just has been sitting in the Google Doc, but it has finally been moved over to the PDF official, and it really made the PDF big because right now it's sitting at 359 pages. And I could definitely like lower that by a few pages because of like the formatting is not as good as it could be. But here, what's like a good page to leave it on to look sexy? Yeah, I don't know how much players are going to like use this stuff. I mean, not players, but like DMs. I mean, the book has definitely gotten so long at this point, 359 pages, that I'm wondering if I should just do a DM's guide to like, all this like planet and terrain generation and like the, commerce shop owners inventory generation and enemies and NPC stat blocks. Like, I'm wondering if like I should just take all that and move it into a DM's guide, and just so the player's handbook isn't too big, because like on one hand it's like that psychological thing where like if you show a player a handbook and say, hey, you need to know this to play this game, and it's almost 400 pages long, of course the player is going to have that like knee-jerk reaction of like, I don't want to look at this. This game seems way too complicated to play, even though the only like pages they actually need to know are like maybe 50 to 100 pages of it, and that's like including a lot of tables and stuff, so it's like it's not that bad. But yeah, it's just that like horrible psychological effect of like, here's a 400-page document, read it before we play next week. But at the same time, if I split it up into a player handbook and a DM's guide, that's anti-consumer, because I'm now making DMs specifically buy 2 separate books just to play this one game. And I know that's how like Wizards does it. I think Paizo does that too. I think a couple companies do that. But like I would like to try to be consumer friendly, I guess. I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's getting too long at this point, and I still plan on adding a few more things like powered armor, powered exosuits. They're in the Google Doc, but they're not in the PDF yet because they're not. I haven't looked at them in so long that I didn't think putting them in would be justifiable. And then, well, I mean, planetary vehicles are already in the PDF, but I might add a few more, and I might have to overhaul them a lot because I still need to figure out how combined arms is going to function in Mythic, because that was kind of like one of the big things I wanted for the game, is that I wanted players, if they so wanted to buy a tank and ride around in a tank and just blow enemies away in whatever like campaign they're in. But like, how do you balance that to still make the game fun, you know? And the simple answer is to just throw more enemies at the players, but that's not a very intelligent answer, you know? So, I don't know. I'm going to need to test that. I'm going to need to figure out, like, what's the best response to that? Like, is it just throwing more enemies at the players, or do I need to, like, you know, if there's 5 players, should I do 5 enemies and then a bunch of support units? Or, you know, if the players have a tank, then maybe if it's like 5 players and they have a tank, then maybe I should throw 5 enemies and a commander at them just so they can have like the damage output and health to actually survive fighting in a tank long enough to make the combat interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to test that in the future. But it's going to be a few months before I can test it with my TTRPG group, because we just ended it was technically part of the main campaign, but it was kind of like a one-shot side quest for the main campaign. And some players in the group really just want to get back to their usual characters, because some people play different characters for the one shot. It wasn't a one shot, but it was, you know, it was a side thing. And so we want to do another like big chunk of that campaign, and doing a big chunk of that campaign usually takes a few months to get through, which I'm not complaining. I'm just, you know, I'm just saying that it takes a while to get through. So it's going to be a few months before I can playtest my game again. So hopefully everybody who's on the Discord can download the PDF and get to trying it out with their groups. And I hope they enjoy it and find it interesting. One guy in chat, do you have any questions? One guy watching, I should say. Here's a good page to just have on screen. I really like how that turned out. I definitely wish I was a better painter, but I think this turned out alright. But yeah, apparently one of the guys in my group was so traumatized from playtesting my game last time that he didn't want to playtest it again this time. He didn't say that outright, but like his response was, it made it very obvious that he felt that way. Which is funny. He played the old tech build, and if you guys watched my first video on Mythic that the original tech build was crazy overpowered because you could have a bunch of robot companions and auto turrets, and then on top of all that you had the technician perk path. Just all that combined was just so OP. And because it was so OP, I was making like a bunch of changes to it as we were playing, which I guess that was the thing that like really pissed him off, because he kept having to like relearn things as we went, and like, yeah, that's really annoying. That's really unfortunate that he had to go through that. But like, you really don't want to try the game at all, you know? But no, we're still playing it, so that's good. Just going to take a while to get there. But okay, so what's some feedback I got thus far? A lot of it's been simple stuff, just like simple mistakes. One person said that species stat adjustments might be referencing previous stat system, which I think they're right. I think it is. Oh, it's Orb. Hey, Orb. Or not Orb, it's Onion. Hey, Onion. Hey, Orb is still reading through the manual, but I've got people pretty interested, and I've spoken quite a bit about it since I started following and learning more. That's great. Be super exciting if you played it with your group. I'm especially excited for people to play it with their group, because like, if you guys run into like rules that you can't make like sense of and like nobody can like figure out, then that's really good, because then I know for certain that I need to like rewrite that whatever rule that might be. Yeah, I'm glad you're showing it to people and potentially getting it tested. Yeah, I know some people on the Discord have like multiple groups, so I'm really hoping some people can test it sooner rather than later. Because I know I can't test it that soon. So let's see, where's species? I'm interested to hear people's reaction to the character creation section as well, because I try to make it very like roleplay focused. With like the origins system and all that, but we'll see. Species 16. So right now, the species modifiers, yeah, they might be a little strong right now, because for humans, you get a +1 to every stat to a maximum of 20. And when you get to level 4, you get a +1 to all your saves. But right now, most like species modifiers are just like +1 or +2 to two different things. And then like -1 to 2 different things. So as long as it's just like +1 or +2, I don't think it's going to be too OP if I don't change it. Because it is still running kind of on the old system of using ability scores rather than stat scores. Should be okay. Like, yeah, most species don't get like +3s, and those who do are like special circumstances, like where is it? Chthon? Is it Chthon? No, I think it's the rock guys. Did I pass it? Ricadum. They get +3 to resolve and +2 to strength, which is like big modifiers to start the game with, but they can't wear armor. They can only have like a natural defense. So I think that'll still be okay. Not sure, because if you really do min-max and you get a +2 to something, you min-max, then you start the game with +7 to something, which that could definitely be overpowered at the start of the game. But I don't know. That's min-maxing, and we'll see if it's actually like that bad. Because yeah, if you max it out, get like a stat to 5, and then get a +2 from species mod, and then skills at max is another +5, so that's 7. That's still just 12 max, so that's the same how it used to be. So I don't know, might be fine. How far are you in the manual, Onion? Have any interesting thoughts or questions come up as you've been reading it? Yeah, I guess that's kind of all I had to say about the PDF. I can go over other stuff, I guess. Character sheet. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but so you put character name, level, put your species down here. This box might be too small. Tell me if it is. Here are your stat scores. There's no longer, there used to be a little section, you know, this used to be divided into 2 boxes within this box for the ability score and then modifier, but now it's just the stat. So for new player, even new players, like the game, I feel like the game should be like easier to understand at first for newer players, because like you don't have to deal with like the weirdness of ability scores and then ability score modifiers. Like when you roll for a skill, you just add the stat of the base stat of the stat score. And then you add your training level, of course. But I've gotten about 1/3 through it. Unfortunately, I've had less time than I thought I would this weekend, and I'm compiling the things I know or have questions about in case things overlap. That's fair. Been pretty busy for me too the last like month. I mean, not really, but yeah, that's completely fair. Yeah, I really look forward to seeing your comprehensive feedback. Sounds like you're taking some detailed notes. I'm excited. But so on the character sheet, you have passive awareness, which works similar to how it does in D&D. You have luck, which you get when you complete quests specific to your character. And if you want to know what those are, you can go to, it's under character creation. Uh, it's under the origin section. Well, I guess it's player goals, right? Oh, maybe that is part of origins. 22. Origins, because at the end of the origins, you're supposed to make player goals, which are just supposed to like help you like tell your DM like what kind of story your character would like to have for this campaign, and what are the steps you want to kind of generally perform to kind of get to that end goal. And this might not be for some people's taste because it might be like pre-planning too much for the campaign. It might not be like spontaneous or random enough, or maybe like player led enough. But if you don't, yeah, if players don't like it, they don't have to do the goals if they don't want to. But I think for me as a DM, like I've DM'd so many games where like I'll make a story or plot line that I think a character will like, but then they're like completely disinterested in it. So it's just like nice to know specifically what kind of story they want told for their character. Next week is supposed to be slow at work, so I'll be hiding in a corner reading it whenever I can, lol. Nice. I love slacking off. But no, it's great. Like, yeah, don't feel pressured to read it if you don't want to. It's all free work right now, so I really appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, so on the character sheet, this is actually like a fewer number of skills than there used to be. There used to be like animal husbandry and cognition. Used to be like recall and psionics, but I combined it into a single thing. Fortunately, this allowed me to change the format so I can actually put perk DRs on the first page. So when players are in combat, like for the most part, they should only need to look at the first page and a little bit of the third page, because the third page is where they track their gear and stuff. You know, you have your total inventory slots, credits, equipped armor, equipped shield, exhaustion and radiation level, armor mods, and then you have your weapons. So when you're in combat, you really only need to look at page 1 and 3. Page 4, if you have like grenades and stuff, then you probably want to look at page 4 because they're consumables technically. So, you know, you throw them and then you erase them from your inventory manager. And while most things in the game weigh at least like 1 inventory slot, ammo is different. Ammo can be in stacks of 10. Ammo is a little weird because like if you have like 1 bullet of 1 ammo type in an inventory slot, that inventory slot cannot be used for anything else. But you can have 10 bullets of the same type within that inventory slot before it like officially it counts as like 1 inventory slot or 1 pound or whatever, and you can't put any more in there. And so that's why there's still like a mount on this page, and I'm interested. This might be like too tight. Things might be like too close together. So you guys can tell me whether or not in practice if they're too close together. But underweight, you just put down the amount of inventory slots it takes up. So then you just deduct that from your total inventory slots. The speed box is a little small because you can have multiple types of speed, but for normal ground speed, that should be big enough. Yeah. Most of what players should need on like on-demand and combat should be here. Feel free to tell me if another thing would be useful to have on this sheet. It's pretty tight right now, so I don't know how much more I can fit in there. Someone already told me that I should reduce training level down to TL just to save room and give more space for this line section, which is fair. The Psionics actions starting on page 104 don't list how many ability slots they cost. 104. Prerequisite deployment time, 2 actions, range, duration up to 1 minute. Still confidence. So, okay. I'm not sure. Ability tiers and ability tiers. So an ability is influenced by what tier you cast it at. Tier 1 abilities require 1 ability slot to be cast. If you so choose, you may spend more ability slots to cast an ability at a higher tier, increase its power and capability. So for the feedback I got where it doesn't list how many ability slots a ability needs to be used, it's because if it says it's a tier 1 ability and it requires 1 ability slot to use. And when quote unquote upcast or cast or use at a higher tier, it just uses 1 more ability slot. So if you have a tier 1 ability like Ambusher and you want to use the tier 2 version, you just spend 2 ability slots. So that's why it doesn't have the section saying how many slots it needs to be taken up or how many it needs to be used. I think that's all the feedback I've gotten so far. Oh, this is what you said. I mean, Acuity could be a good replacement for Insight. Yeah, I also got the feedback that like there's too many stats that start with like an IN. Like there's intelligence, insight, and influence, which I 100% agree with. Um, I've been thinking that for a while now, and I probably should just change it. Uh, in a future update, because I really do need to like some time off from just like looking at Mythic. I've been working on it nonstop, and like for anyone wondering where the next video is, which should be coming out pretty soon, actually. Um, it's been like a wild timeline because like I took some time off after the last video, which was like that the dumb book ad. I took some time off, like a week, and then I got way too ambitious with the animations. I've said some of this already. And I ran into like a ton of issues with Blender. And then I went and house sit for my cousin, which that was a week. And then I sat from my cousin. Then I came back, and then I was kind of like slow start getting back into it, and I just ran into more and more issues with Blender, and ripping models from Baldur's Gate 3, and I eventually I just had to like cut like a lot of animations. I cut 5 minutes of animations worth of stuff from the video, which is probably good because that amount of animations was just insane. Because like making like a minute of animation, even like my mediocre animations, takes like several hours to a day to make, depending on how much stuff is going on in a single scene. So, and I was like, I want to do scenes with like crowds. Like I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like a scene full of crowds of people would have been insane to have done. There's no way I could have done it. Especially with the models I'm using. I'm using these like Baldur's Gate 3 models I found online, and they are not well optimized at all. They like you have more than one in a single scene, and just Blender just barely functions. My music stopped. Oh no. I'm playing Halo mixes. I'd say I'm afraid that there's going to be like copyrighted music in here, but like who cares? I'm not monetized anymore. Yeah, so I decided to also include so on the character sheet for all the like the origins section where you're supposed to write down origins basically works where you get additional +1s to certain skills. Oh, well, I guess the max skill is maximum skill training modifier is 13 then, if you include origin skills. But for origin skills, you have chapters of your life, of your character's life that happened before the campaign, and you write down like as a sentence or two. It's supposed to be very brief. Like, I did X in my life, and that got me this skill. And then you write down what skill you get a +1 in. And you do that 3 times, and then you can do the same with affiliations. But affiliations is that you can get a +1 to a skill that a different player has training in. It's from their 2 best skills. So if you if another player has like max in ballistic weapons, you can just take that and be like, oh, I met this person in my backstory, and through knowing them, I learned I got this +1 to this skill. It's supposed to encourage players to know another player character or two before the campaign starts, because that's supposed to kind of relieve the early game like not trusting each other kind of thing that a lot of players have to deal with when starting a new campaign. It's just easier and faster to just have everybody just know each other. And then I already talked about goals, and this is kind of where you write them down. I made the short-term goal section the longest because like you have like potentially up to like 6 or something. And then perks is just tacked onto this page. I didn't know where else to put them. Yeah, this is like your equipped inventory section. And then I also included as the last page. It's kind of small. I don't know why it came out so small. But the last page in the character sheet is a quick reference guide just telling you like basics of how combat works and how actions work. My players really liked this back when I did my first playtest, even though it became kind of out of date by the time the playtest ended because I was changing so much stuff as we were playing. I think the game is going to be much smoother. Like, a lot of the people in the Discord are going to be trying out the first time, and I think it's going to be it's going to be a competent game for them. But for my player group who has played the previous original version, I think it's going to be a much smoother, much more enjoyable experience this time around. But we'll have to see. I can show the ship sheet as well. I'm really conflicted on the ship's development because, like, I feel like what part of me wants to do is just to give players like a ship like instead of having like different types of like ships, like there's frigates, and then there's the Stalwart, was supposed to be like an all-around good ship, but then you have like another frigate that's like supposed to be good at doing damage, and then you have another frigate that's supposed to be good at like having a bunch of ship upgrades and not like as many weapons. Part of me wants to get rid of that and just like, oh, if you have a frigate, you have just a frigate, and how you upgrade that frigate is how that frigate becomes unique according to what you guys want. The problem with that is that how do I track how powerful that thing is and figure out like what types of enemies to throw at it per level? Because part of me just doesn't want to do levels for ships at all, but like how do I throw enemies at them then if I don't know like generally how powerful they are? So ships still have levels. Ships have levels, and they're the same level as players. And they still have different classes. Not like D&D classes. Not like D&D classes. Like the classes have very like small differences between them. Like where like one is faster than the normal ship than all the other classes, or one is like has more armor. It's as like very small things that kind of put a twist on how they work. But yeah, like the differences between them might be so small that maybe just doing like a pure upgrade system would be better. But the ship sheet works pretty similar to the character sheet, where you have your hit points, charge slots, energy shields, armor rating, speed, inventory slots, extra rooms. For ships, it's weird because to install weapons and ship upgrades, you need rooms. So like when you install energy shields onto your ship, that needs to take up a room or two. You need to physically put that into like a room on your ship that you're not using. And when you get into combat, the room the energy shields are installed in now becomes a precision shot target. And if it gets hit, then that ship upgrade will be disabled until fixed, which fixing them is really easy. Like if you have a R&D focused character, it's, on your turn, you spend an action to fix it. But that takes up an action on your turn, so, I tried to make it very, like, FTL inspired, where you can, like, take hits in certain locations, and just that entire thing is disabled for combat. But I didn't really test that in my independent testing. That's something I definitely need to test in my testing when I play with my group or when people playtest it. But it works similar to the player sheet, where you have installed weapons, which are like equipped weapons. You put down all their stats, and then you keep track of how many bullets they have in their magazine. With ships, you don't have to buy ammo. You don't need to keep track of ammo. I thought that would be like too annoying, but so you still need to keep track of magazine sizes though. So if you shoot all your shots in a magazine, you still got to reload the gun on your ship, and that takes an action. Reloading for any weapon on a ship just takes one action, because you have to individually reload potentially like a lot of weapons on your ship. So you, even with like reloading just being one action, that could still take up an entire turn just reloading all the guns on your ship. So yeah. Well, we'll talk for an hour and a half. Have you seen any of the new Halo game, Onion? Well, not new Halo game, but the Halo 1 remake. Whoops. Seems loud. One of the guys I work with won't shut up about it. But I've watched him play it. Seems pretty fun. Yeah, I played it for like a few minutes this morning. Like, it seems pretty solid. The moving of like your camera and like where you're shooting feels a little weird. Feels a little floaty. Especially compared to like the old Halo games. I'm wondering if that's like a performance issue thing, or just like the game. Just feels a little weird. The new graphics look pretty good.
Cortana, all I need to know is, did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Get here first? The Covenant's ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed, my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark, yes?
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the hole we tore in slip space. They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
So, where do we stand?
Our fighters are mopping up the last of the recon picket now. Nothing serious. But I've isolated approach signatures for multiple CCS-class battle groups. Make it 3 capital ships per group. And in about 90 seconds, they'll be all over us.
Well, that's it then. Bring the ship back up to Combat Alert Alpha. I want everyone at their stations.
Everyone, sir?
Everyone. And Cortana.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give our old friends a warm welcome.
I've already begun.
Attention all combat personnel. Please report to your action stations.
Let's go! Take it to him!
I'm not
This
crazy
is
about the
not
new
a drill.
vocal performances.
I repeat, this is not a drill.
They just feel like
You
flat,
heard the lady.
especially compared to the original.
Move like you got a purpose. Let's get it going, Marine.
I mean, I guess it's kind of unavoidable, like using new voice actors in a remake, because like the original is always going to sound like the better version because that's the original version, right?
Man,
I don't know, I feel like it
here's
goes
where we
beyond
show
that.
Those split-chinned, squid-headed sons of
this.
bitches, they couldn't have picked a worse enemy than the human race. We are going to blow the hell out of those dumb bugs until we don't have anything left to shoot them with. And then we are gonna strangle them with their own living guts. Am I right, Marines? Sir, yes, sir. Mm-hmm, damn right I am. Now move it out, double time. Woo, here we go.
Attention all personnel. We are re-engaging the enemy. External and internal contact imminent.
Oh, you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close. This is gonna be your lucky day.
Fire team, report to defensive positions Alpha through Sierra. Sensors show inbound Covenant boarding craft. Stand by to repel boarding.
They just fired its main gun. That's cool.
Get on it. Stop them! Stay cool, Mendoza. What do you expect, Rifleman? You think this little pleasure cruise is gonna last forever? Man, keep your eyes down range, fingers on the triggers, and we'll all go home in one piece.
Whoa. Sir?
Cortana to Cryo 2. Transmitting security code. Bridge out.
Right. Let's thaw him out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. His vitals look good. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5. Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now.
Welcome back, sir. We'll have you battle-ready status.
Vital signs look normal. No freezer burn.
Bridge to Cryo 2. This is Captain Keyes. Send the Master Chief to the bridge immediately.
Captain, we'll have to skip the weapons diagnostics and
On the double, crewman.
Aye, aye, sir. The skipper seems jumpy. We'd better get moving. We'll find you weapons later.
Okay, I'll need the self-diagnostics running at least.
Good idea. You'd better get to your evac.
But yeah, I like the new cutscene, but like I feel like
I
it
just have to
lingered
reset the
too long in
computer.
certain like sequences. Like,
Oh god, they're trying to get through the door!
do we really need a scene of like Johnson like telling the other Marines like how to shoot their guns?
Come on, we've got to get the hell out of here. This way.
Enemy boarding party.
Behind us! They're right behind us! Secure those blast doors.
Repositioning.
They're all gonna die! Those alien bastards are everywhere. Chief, Cortana says get to the bridge. Sir, the captain needs you on the bridge ASAP. Better follow me.
They definitely made this section easier to speedrun though.
Keep firing!
So I just remember in the original, like that one Marine will just block your way and you can't get by him. I do like that they do like a build up to show off Master Chief too.
Captain Keyes?
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but
I guess in the
we never
original
really
game that
had a
wouldn't make
chance.
sense because like
A
who
dozen
cares? It's just
Covenant
Master Chief.
superior battleships against a single
wasn't important
Halcyon
back
class
then.
cruiser.
But, like nowadays,
Those odds,
I don't know.
I'm content with 3. Make that 4 kills.
Those deserve
Sleep
now.
well.
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report!
It must be one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline.
Captain, the cannon was my last defensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cole Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found. I'm going to try to land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. The protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable. And that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones. Upload them to my Neuralase. Then sort yourself for a hard transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research. Earth.
I understand.
If all goes well, we'll rendezvous on the object's surface. And if it doesn't... make sure my daughter gets this.
It's so small.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
yank me. Your architecture isn't that much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
I like that framing. With the ring in his visor.
Good luck, Master Chief.
The Covenant have breached the command deck. We have to stop them from taking the bridge. What the hell are you doing?
Okay. You still do that.
Security to the bridge. The Master Chief has gone rampant. Take him down, boys.
That's it. I'm shutting you down.
We got lay down fire.
They're unkillable? Maybe they're unkillable.
Hey, ugly, eat ground. You're mine. Oh, that hurts.
Okay. I did notice in the settings that there is a friendly fire option.
The
So
Covenant
maybe
have
you have to
breached
turn
the
that
command
on
deck. We have to stop them from taking the bridge.
to actually kill allies. It's kind of weird.
There's one.
I see them.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief. Do what you do best.
Hey, friendly fire.
Not change my. I changed all my key bindings earlier today. I guess I didn't save any of it. That's annoying. God, that noise has really good, like, it feels punchy. Damn, okay.
Contact! Roger. What the hell? Did something just hit us? Move in! Back to the airlock!
Damage to the superstructure is extensive. I don't know how much more abuse the Autumn can take.
Careful! More! Over here!
Keep your head down. There's two of us in here now, remember?
Wow, that's an upgrade. Doesn't the original Halo just have like nothing going on outside the ship?
They're using our lifeboat airlocks to attach their boarding craft. We go out and they come in. Clever bastards. That's a Covenant overshield. I've created an interface patch that will let you use the device to augment your shields.
I've also noticed that like, grenades have like gigantic blast radiuses in this. Like way bigger than what they look like. Got me killed a few times this morning.
Everybody!
Halo 3 Suiciders now. It's pretty cool.
Fall back to secondary defensive position.
It's actually kind of surprising how like it integrates really well, like the later mechanics into Halo 1. I always thought like the Suiciders wouldn't have like enough room in Halo 1 to be fair.
Grenade out!
They're all over me!
Keep your head in the game.
Careful.
Combat teams on deck 5 through 9. Fall back to secondary defensive position. Combat teams on deck 7 and 8. Fall back.
I really need to replay the first one again. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't remember. I want to do more like a detailed comparison. I feel like that would be an interesting stream, just like going like every level switching off games from like the original to the remake.
Heretic spotted!
The elites, like their shield popping is also like really satisfying.
Covenant, on the landing above us. Warning, blast door's closing.
Are you? Get away from me!
I'm in cover.
It's also weird, like in the cutscene the pistol looks super small, but in his hands, the pistol looks fucking massive.
Clear.
Crew and ops personnel on deck 9. Report to evac station. Crew and ops personnel on decks 1 through 4. Report to evac stations immediately.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. yeah, now that the game's like out for public playtesting, my next video I plan on making it about how space combat works. And so I really want to do like big space scenes. Hopefully it's not like this video where it makes the entire thing like painful to make, but it's really cool to like make some stuff like this. Oh wow. Like of course there's stuff like that I can't remake, but like having ships just fly around would be pretty cool to animate. I feel like it wouldn't take that long either. Like there's no rig you have to manipulate. It doesn't have to look like a normal human moving. It's just like a ship sliding from point A to point B.
You have to use the ship's maintenance access ways. Follow the nav point. It will lead you to an opening.
Honestly, now that the game's out for public playtesting, I can make a lot of videos just about Mythic now. It'd be kind of fun.
I'm detecting Covenant movement outside the access ways. If you can get behind them, one melee hit to the back will neutralize most hostiles.
He said the line. He said war, war, war. Oh my god. I'm soy poggy.
Motion tracker shows all clear.
It's cool that they put the lines in. I feel like it makes it easier to kind of makes it easier to find your way in the ship. Because I think I used to get lost on this level. But like I guess you can still get turned around because you still might follow them in the wrong direction. But
it looks like the Covenant wanted to catch you napping.
Oh, that's a big boy. Holy shit. The screen shake is getting annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Grenade up!
Giving all the combat. Sierra through Victor. Prepare for it.
What? How'd I die?
This is your task. Any remaining personnel for the lifeboat to leave. Abandoned ship. I repeat, abandoned ship.
Lost one.
There's one last lifeboat. Quickly, get aboard before it launches.
remaining combat teams. Pull out an abandoned ship. Good luck. Keep
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Those elites are just like shifting back and forth. This is pretty cool.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look.
Wow.
What is that thing, Lieutenant? Hell if I know, but we're landing on it.
That lip sync was rough.
I knew it. The Autumn's accelerating. Keys is going in manual.
Heads up, everyone, this is it. We're entering the ring's atmosphere in 5.
You sure you wouldn't rather take a seat?
We'll be fine.
Cutscenes are pretty good so far. They're definitely not like blur level quality,
We're
but
coming in too fast.
pretty good.
Damn! Air brake failure. They blew too early. I'm losing her. Brace for impact!
Chief! Chief! Can you hear me? At last. Are you alright? Can you move?
Oh. That has that ragdoll? Okay. The all ragdoll? No.
The others. The impact. There's nothing we can do.
Halo Sprint. Modern
Alert!
enhanced
Covenant dropship
gameplay.
inbound. They must be looking for survivors. I recommend immediate.
Can you do
evasion.
the? Can you still do the skip over here? I don't remember how you do it though. I just wasted time. Oh. Did you make this skip easier? I didn't have to use grenades. Oh, they spawn anyways. That sucks. Or no, it's supposed to... It's so the banshees don't spawn or something? Your slide, no.
I'm reading a lifeboat beacon over the next hill. We should check to see if there are any survivors.
Cortana, great to hear your voice again. We're pinned down by a large Covenant force. We would appreciate any assistance. Dropships, prepare for combat! Heavy dropships on the way!
Good to see you, sir. I thought we were the only ones who made it off the Pillar of Autumn.
Good to see you, sir. Welcome to the party.
It's a mess, sir. We're scattered all over this valley. We called for evac, but until you showed up, I thought we were cooked.
Don't worry, Sergeant. We'll stay here until evac arrives. Warning, I have detected multiple Covenant dropships on approach.
I do appreciate that sprint's infinite. I really hate artificial sprint like durations or bars or whatever. No, not crazy at their sprint in Halo, but at least it's not like stupid. You can only do it for a certain amount of time.
Oh man, they're everywhere! Heads up, we got a Covenant dropship down there.
Take the fight to them!
Oh god, it burns!
Enemy troop carrier inbound!
Contact! Dropship down there!
Catch this!
Uh-oh, another bandit dropping in behind us. They're trying to flank us.
I think they all ran away.
I think the Marine dialogue is like a mix of old and new. That sounds like verbatim the original line. Like down to the voice actor.
Covenant troop carrier inbound. They're inbound. We may have a problem here. These bastards are everywhere. Dropship inbound.
Repositioning. Cover me. Locate that wretched curse. Checking the area. Stay alert. Heresy.
This is Pelican Echo 419. Anybody reading me? Repeat. Any UNSC personnel respond.
Roger, Echo 419.
Bullet magnetism
This
feels
is
really
Fire
weak in
Team
this game.
Charlie. We read you. Is that you, Fohammer?
Roger, Fire Team Charlie. Good to
I
hear
don't know, bullet
from you.
magnetism being like really strong in
I'm
the
on my
original.
way.
You're dead!
without bullet magnetism, it's really hard to shoot their opening.
We're clear.
I'm glad they added some wear and tear to the
Look,
Forerunner
more
structures.
lifeboats. They're coming in fast. If those lifeboats make it down, the Covenant are going to be right on top of them.
Spellhammer, we need you to disengage your Warthog. The Master Chief and I are going to see if we can save some soldiers.
Roger, Cortana.
The Master
I'm not a
Chief
fan of
and I
stuff
need
like
some
this though,
backup.
like
Any
the
spares,
little like
Sure,
I think they're called jibs in like the redesign.
Volunteers, step up. On the
They're just
double.
like
The rest of you get to the dropship.
Okay, Charlie Team, Warthog deployed. Saddle up and
I don't know, it's hard to say for like a 25-year-old game that had like
Roger,
limited
Spellhammer.
resources, but like
Stand by to evac
I
survivors
kind of liked
and
how
transport them to
monolithic the
safety.
original Forerunner designs were.
That's affirmative. Echo 419 staying on station.
Even, I guess in like Halo 3 it did start to kind of look like this in some ways. Like much more designed, maybe even overly designed.
Survivors will probably stick close to their emergency beacons. We need to find where the lifeboats land.
Oh. The Warhawk doesn't follow
My
the camera anymore.
topographical scans indicate a subterranean passage.
What the fuck?
It looks like our best route out of this valley.
That's weird. Can I change that? Driver based? Aim based? Why is that an option? Okay. Here we go. Alright, here we go. But now I'm just thinking like Cursed Halo and the gigantic Warhawk that's up here. Or would be up here if it was Cursed Halo. Why does it feel like the turn radius is better on aim-based driving? It's so weird.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere. I've hacked into the Covenant battle network. They're actually broadcasting tactical data on unencrypted channels. We should show them who they're dealing with. Master Chief, I'm going to use your suit's transcom system to monitor their chatter. This lapse in their security is promising. I should be able to analyze their defensive systems. I'll alert you when I find something of interest.
Little help here! Little help here!
Turret Gunner is way more helpful than the original. The original is so bad. This is bad.
Yeah, we're invincible! Give me an assist over here! Hey, let's do this, huh?
I've located the bridge controls. They're on that ledge.
Okay, so people are saying the bridge cutscene has been removed. But I remember back when I played this game that it only plays when you're not in combat. So I'm just wondering if that's happening to everyone. I just want to make sure I clear everything. Soundtrack sounds good. Gotta head out. It's good hearing from you. Thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the game, reading the game. Have a good one. Okay, no cutscene. Wow.
Traffic on the Covenant Battle Network. A lot more crew made it off the Autumn than I had predicted. The captain really gave them hell. If we can find Captain Keyes and the other survivors, we have a chance to coordinate an effective resistance.
Echo 419 to Cortana, come in. I've spotted additional lifeboats in your area. One near a rock slide, one near the cliff edge, and another near the head of the river. Hard to see from my altitude, but it looks like there are more survivors.
Acknowledged. We're on our way. I'm detecting Marine IFF signals beyond that marker. Survivors detected. Marines are concealed in those rocks. Alert, there are Jackal snipers on the high ground. I recommend you stay out of their line of fire.
Snipers? What? Halo 1? Why did you get out of the car?
That's what I'm talking about.
Fuck. I disappeared.
Survivors detected. Marines are concealed in those rocks. Alert, there are Jackal snipers on the high ground. I recommend you stay out of their line of fire.
Great shot.
They drop beam rifles? Oh, they do. Whoa. Beam rifle in Halo 1. Look at that. Wow.
Punch it! I think I got a few of those government bastards, but I'm hit. Take my sniper rifle, sir.
That was an headshot. Okay.
Area secure.
Let's roll!
Enemy dropship!
Book it! Firing!
Safety's on.
Enemy dropship! Dropship inbound.
Show me what you got!
Shooting fork inbound.
Heads up! Oh, baby! That's the best you can do?
Yeah, the Marines seem way more effective now. Which is nice. They were so bad in the original. Accurate, are they? I like the Warhog. It feels weighty. The original was very floaty in its physics. Okay.
Stand by, Marines. I've called Echo 419 for evac. We should dust off shortly.
Roger that. Marines! Assemble for evac! Pronto!
I hate that the fire does damage in this game. I'll just step into it and it's like I almost died because of it. Where's 419? Do they not like actually come in anymore? They used to come in and like actually pick up the Marines. Okay, that's kind of lame.
Interesting.
It might be because my Warhog isn't destroyed.
Find and expunge the putrid apes. Sounds like we made quite an impression. We need to find the other two lifeboats. There are some Marines hiding in the hills above the structure.
Why do they overcharge in because think of like weird waves? Interesting visual choice. sniper rifle?
Whoa! Keep up! I got more where that came from. Right behind you. Get a better
Back in.
Who invited you?
I'm clear. I've located the final lifeboat. I'll give you a nav point to the beacon.
Let's get out of here.
Warning. I've picked up reports that the Covenant have located and secured the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. The good news is the captain is still alive.
Here we go.
Bad news is that the Covenant
Maybe I
has
just missed
captured
it
the entire
on the last
surviving
one?
command crew.
Maybe like
Go around.
not enough survived.
Pedal to the metal. Come on.
Clear!
Spirit on approach.
I'm taking fire! Stay on target! Keep dishing it out!
Covering.
Survivors detected beneath that tower. Let's find a way down.
Going loud!
Got him in my sight.
Get me a ring!
And Warhol looks fucked up now. Some pretty cool detail work.
Yes, he's back.
Under fire!
This one's mine.
Taking fire from the faithless!
Was messy.
I think they all ran away.
I'm on the gun!
Music sounds pretty grateful. Pretty good too.
Choke on it! We're gonna go down!
Nothing to report.
That's the last of them.
All right.
Roger that. I'm on my way.
Oh, cutscene.
Echo 419 to Cortana. Warhammer's on station and ready for another pickup.
New traffic on the Covenant battle net. I found Captain Keyes. He's being held on a